Hi, everyone.
Happy Father's Day! If you're wondering why I'm giggling, it's because Loki had the worst Father's Day ever today. Yeah, so he started his day having to clean up an unhygienic baby who did unhygienic things without his diaper on.
For shame.
And he continued to take off all of his clothes. Like, we got him onesies, we got him overalls, and now because he's almost 3 years old, he can Houdini out of all of it. We are very frustrated. But I know the school's potty time schedule and all of that. I just have to adhere to it on the 3 days that he's with me instead.
I am so sorry.
Thanks. Yeah, the potty training is like the one. It's the thing I was most squeamish about having the baby like actually outside of my body. Like the diaper thing, yeah, I got used to that pretty quickly, but potty training and all the things that go with that, I'd rather hire someone to do that for me, but can't find anyone. And our budget is a little bit lower than usual because A, it's car insurance season, B, Loki dropped back to part-time because he was going to do like part-time and flex work. That ended up not working out because with the flex work, he was going to take me with him, but because he thinks that I'm so sick so often because I'm so out of shape.
Oh.
So he's like training himself to max giga chatification in his own terminology so that he can become my personal trainer so that I can get more in shape. As opposed to just going, hey, hun, you should probably do a workout. Hey, didn't your workout timer go off? Or something like that, you know. Would be motivating and not. Okay, so anyway, today we are defending Gethsemane Butler, who is not that bad of a writer, actually. We are on chapter 4. And it's scripted! I hate it!
Mervyn, why?
Oh, I cannot sleep. My head is filled with thoughts of Sweeney, which makes my mind fuller than it's been in years. Thinking hurts. That and the storm of symbolic romance is rumbling poetically outside. Okay, that's really mean, but it's also, like, it's kind of funny. Like, taken by itself, it would be funny. But
yeah, I'm commenting on, like, thematically, on emotionally resonant weather is kind of a funny joke.
Yeah. Now seems to be a good time to take a random walk, considering I could be struck by lightning.
I'm sorry you hate weather, Mervyn. I freaking love rainstorms.
Mervyn. Oh boy, this should be fun. Yeah, I had a boyfriend once who didn't like rainstorms. Like, he was afraid of thunder, which is completely valid. But he also wasn't whinging about it in a fanfic. Hola, I'm going to wander about the streets of this pretty bad part of town wearing all black because there's no chance anybody will be on the streets. Nope, not a soul. London and Fleet Street just kind of go indoors after a certain time, just like your city. So there's no chance anybody will do harm to me. Oh my god, is she, like, I think what Mervyn is going for is Victoria is spunky agencying.
But I see. She's going outside so she could get attacked so she can get rescued.
Yes. Yeah, I believe that's the intent. And I believe what Mervyn is trying to say is that it was telegraphing it way too hard to the point of being a dead herring. But I don't know what the actual text says. So I don't know if she's insisting over and over and over again, oh, it'll be fine, it'll be fine, it'll be fine, nothing will happen. All we have is Mervyn's word for it.
Yeah.
So, Mervyn is bored. Victoria, my goodness, I'm just lost in my own thoughts. I just am not aware of my surroundings at all, but that's perfectly all right because nobody's out on the streets of London at this time of night after all, especially in the middle of a symbolic thunderstorm. Okay, you set enough mood. Okay, so she was, I guess, dragging it out a little bit.
Okay, but Mervyn is only ever one of two feelings in this work so far, and that's bored or angry. Honestly, I kind of prefer it when she's bored because at least then she's not like speaking in caps lock and throwing accusations around.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably get impatient at this point, but again, all we have is Mervyn's word for it. Let's move on to the plot that we already know is about to happen. Just hurry up and do it so I can rant about what's wrong with it.
I mean, that summarizes Mervyn's entire. Like, she is hate reading this.
I mean, yeah. To be fair.
Okay, yes, we are also hate reading Eden, but
yeah, actually, Bex posted like a quote that I had quoted from Eden and shared it with. And this was like a memory from several years ago. She shared it with. I'm so glad you loved this story. It's one of my favorites. And I had to comment saying, "Actually, I didn't. I've been ripping it to shreds on my blog."
Yeah.
But I loved, there were parts of it. There were certain quotes that I liked. There were things I enjoyed about it. But that was before I'd read the absolute fucking trash ending and got so angry about it that I was like, because if the ending had been nice, or, I mean, the ending is objectively, it's nice. But if the ending had been what I thought it was being set up to be by the premise of the fic, I probably wouldn't be so hard on it. But yeah, and that's all stuff that like I read it and then I immediately like, ooh. But then we do kind of give credit where credit is due also, which is something I don't see much of Mervyn doing. And also, we don't script Eden. We let you see what is on the page so you can judge for yourself if it's valid to be complaining about or not.
Yeah, but also you read Eden because it was recommended to you. Mervyn read this because she was looking for something to tear up.
And I think she had already read stuff by Gethsemane Butler before and just decided, okay, I hate this person. Like, yeah, I hate this person. I'm going to tear apart all of her fics, which, okay, we are going to get to the other Harry Potter fics by Obsessed Much, but there's one specifically that runs parallel to Eden and it's from Lucius's point of view. So we have to. And then the others, I just kind of want to see how they compare. Like, I'm not going to go into this being like, ooh, this is going to be the worst thing ever. It's going to be like, okay, well, let's see how her writing style differs from here to here. Was this written more recently? Had she learned anything? Had her writing style changed at all? How is she portraying these characters? You know, does everybody need to be idiots for the plot to work? Which is my main problem with Eden. And everybody's out of character. That's my main.
Yeah, and I just can't get over the fact that, according to Mervyn herself, she basically is like, saw the movie, went to fanfiction.net to lie in wait for the first OC canon fic to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Random man. Haha, I am purely male. Okay, I don't like that phrasing, but whatever. And I
don't either, but I would like to have seen it in context.
Yeah. By the way, if you see me like stretching out my mouth, I have basically the sides of my lips got really chapped and I'm having some sensory issues, but I didn't want it to stop me from sporking. But it feels weird. I've got lip balm on it. I've got like aloe, Gold Bond, and lip balm, and it feels really heavy and it feels really weird, and I don't like it. So you're just kind of seeing me stim a little bit. Victoria, helpless, feminine, struggling. Well, she's considering the time period. Okay, whatever. I'll give her a pass for it.
I said, okay. You know.
Mervyn, you're just trying to undermine what happened to Lucy in One Upper.
How is that?
No! I don't see that at all in this. I see this goes for an ill-advised walk and is assaulted.
Yeah, and like... Why is it a competition? Why is everything in competition with Lucy?
You said something earlier in which, by the way, because I did not feel like typing today because, one thing is wrong on my body and I don't want to deal with having to type and listen. So you said something that actually made me go like, oh yeah, Gethsemane. You said, and you fucking know what? It makes perfect sense for Sweeney Todd's wife to not be Judge Turpin's only victim. Him targeting Victoria's mom makes sense even if she did fumble the execution. Well, of course she fumbled the execution. She's an amateur writer.
Yeah,
There's a lot of shit that's fumbled in One West Covina. The reason we're so harsh on it is because we're trying to publish it as a novel once we file off the serial. So we're going through the editing process and you're watching us edit it on stream. With Eden, we're a little less, we're strict, but we're not as strict because it's not like we're strict about the characterization and certain things that don't really make sense, but we're not holding it to the same standards as a novel, as a published. And you should not be holding, this is a fanfic. She wrote this for fun and posted it on the internet, probably for her friends to enjoy.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Twin, I don't have speaks for you. You're just going to have to accept the weapons.
Sup, Twin? Are you in toddler mood too? I know that you're pretty old, but
she's like, yes, I am sitting on Mom's lap and I want her to give me treats, but instead she is just giving me patents.
Being a chinchilla is hard.
Being a chinchilla is very hard.
Yeah, today outside of so Loki had to go and pay for our stuff at Target. He asked me to keep Lucius occupied. I ended up having to take Lucius out of the store. And I ended up having to hold him very tightly because he was being disruptive in the store. And, you know how I am about that. I'm very self-conscious about that. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, well, we'll go make a ruckus outside of the store. And I did get some sympathetic looks from, older women, older moms and grandmas and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm, sitting there trying to make sure that he stays with me and doesn't try and run out in the street. And I'm trying to offer him his juice. I'm trying to offer him a sandwich, that I brought with me for him. I'm trying to hug him and rub his back and all that. And he is not having it. He had a very difficult day today. He was in a very bad mood. And I did tell him at a couple points, I said, you know what? Everybody has a bad day, get it out. It's better to throw this fit once we're home, it's better to throw this fit at home. And there's things for if he doesn't do, but I'd rather he do them at home than at school, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in a very toddler mood today. Anyway, she will always have it 10 times worse than anybody in the story. Well,
why? Okay, I mean, I cannot see what the actual context is, but I am inclined to believe that Mervyn is the one making this Angst Olympics.
So what happened? Do you remember what happened to Lucy?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah, she was stalked by Judge Turpin, and then she was lured to a party, raped in front of all of his friends who stood around laughing because she was stupid.
Also, that really implies that he's done this to other people before. Because his friends are not surprised. They're just like, ha! Look at him. What a, total classic Judge Turpin.
Oh my God. That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible. But meanwhile with Victoria, all that's happened is she goes for a walk in the rain because she thinks she'll be safe and is assaulted by some dude. That's not trying to have it worse. That's just, I don't see how it's trying to be worse. It's not trying to be worse. It's just the thing that they have in common is they were both assaulted by a man. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's we get it, Mervyn. You think Canon is a sacred cow, and anything that's done in a way that doesn't completely gel with how you fan stuff to be handled is like blasphemy.
Oh, let's talk about canon. So the movie is a really shitty adaptation of the original play, which itself, the musical, is a musical adaptation of another play / movie. The movie isn't even a canon. Like it's a canon, but it is not the canon Sweeney Todd story. It is a fanfic of a fanfic. So what you're seeing now is a fanfic of a fanfic of a fanfic. And
right, but somehow only
in a bunch, huh?
Yes, but somehow only the person who posted something to fanfiction.net is a terrible, horrible person who should never be allowed to write anything.
Yeah, I actually did not like them. I already mentioned I did not like the movie adaptation. I thought that Helena Bonham Carter was an okay Mrs. Lovett. I like her acting. I think she did a good job. Johnny Depp was an okay Sweeney Todd. He was not the best Sweeney Todd I've ever seen, but he's decent and he has a nice voice. I was pleasantly, I liked who they chose for Turpin and Anthony. I did not, I did not like who they chose for Joanna. I had my own, fan cast of Joanna. I don't like that they cut out some of the songs. I don't like they shortened others. I feel like they kind of took the soul out of the play because I have the entire libretto and I can't sing it all the way through because there's duets and there's like a 4-part, Joanna's quartet, of course, is like a 4-part thing, but you know what I mean? Is like I can compare that to the plays that I've seen to the movie and say, yeah, the movie's okay, but it needed to have been longer. If it was gonna adapt the entire play, it needed to adapt the entire play. But I think it's just because Mervyn wants to hop on Johnny Depp's jock, and she's mad that Gethsemane also does. Because there could only be one true fangirl, you see.
Right, and like it's like, okay, so Gethsemane, she writes a fanfic. It's an OC canon fanfic, and it explores similar themes to canon. And Mervyn is like, how fucking dare you think you are better than canon for writing the same things for themes? And it's like you are trying to compete with canon. You horrible person.
That's about as stupid as the time somebody accused me of self-inserting some things onto Trent's character sheet. I was like, self-insert? No!
Yeah,
someone who doesn't know me, by the way.
I really hate how Mervyn is approaching this.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it so much.
Yeah, I don't disagree. All right, let's continue. Gets you all jealous? No, I think it gets you jealous, though. Tall black wraith, the audience is not supposed to know who he is. It's Sweeney.
Let the amateur writer try to have a little suspense, okay? She can have a little attempt at suspense as a treat, okay?
Tall dude, slits purely male's throat. With a name like Purely Male, he probably deserved it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anybody, but that's out of dictionary words, you can put two of together to make something really obnoxious. Those are a pair.
Yeah. Fashionable feminine faint. I like the added alliterative appeal here, but also she's a young woman in basically a period drama. Yeah, she's gonna faint.
So there's a few things here. Twen, do you want down? Yeah. Okay. So firstly, the whole women fainting in period stuff. Women did faint more often during that time because it was socially expected. For one, I need to psychogenic stuff exists, and during that time, being a, fainting flower is like, yes, this was part of the, like, their idea of, like, ideal femininity and stuff. Women who were feminine were expected to be all like, oh, you can't see me swooning, but and so like it's something that's socially expected of them, so it's more likely for them to feel faint because of the nocebo effect. Secondly, when
I was going to say the Pygmalion effect, but yeah.
Secondly, when like fainting at the sight of blood, like that's not just like oh what it was. It's like no. You see, the reason you feel faint, you might feel faint when you see blood, is because your brain is like, blood. Oh no, we might be losing a lot of blood. I need to really lower our blood pressure right now so that we will lose less blood.
Oh.
And that kind of makes you, have a sudden drop in blood pressure, which can cause you to faint.
That explains. So I don't normally faint at like the sight of other people's blood, but a couple of days during the month I do kind of get that like, ooh, I feel woozy after I change things.
Yeah and that's why it's brain is like, okay, survival mode, we should be on the ground and not pushing the blood very hard.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
And
it's good that there's like an actual like it's good that we know the actual scientific reason for that, because I just thought, oh, people who faint at the sight of blood, they're just fucking wimps. But no, now that I know what the reasoning behind that is, that was a fun fact. Thank you.
Yay! I love giving out fun facts.
Yay! Okay. So let's see. Isn't it nice to know that everybody in the story is a stalker of some kind? Yes, actually, I feel seen.
Look, look, stalking is a theme that is explored in fiction because, so there's this thing called transgressive fantasy. So, and it's actually super common.
All right, we're gonna get into a lot of that.
All right. So,
Biffy,
okay.
I'm saying that's a rant you might want to, like, I'm not trying to cut you off, but that is a rant you're going to want to save.
Okay, I'm going to put a pin in that one.
Yeah. So, everybody in the story is a stalker of some kind because everybody in the story is a fucking stalker. Okay? Sweeney Todd was kind of stalking Judge Turpin. Mrs. Lovett was stalking Sweeney Todd. This is in keeping with canon. These characters fit in to canon, what we know of the movie. Okay? They fit in.
And like,
fine.
Yeah, and Judge Turpin, he was stalking Sweeney's wife. So it's like, stalking is a theme that canon explores. And typically, fan fiction likes to play with the same themes as canon.
It's a circle of stalk.
Yeah, it's and I feel like approaching fan fiction from the how dare you think that's if you are posting this, you must think that your take on these themes is better than canon. It's like, nobody's saying that but you, Murphy.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, I shouldn't give people like.
It's fine. I'm not gonna down talk you for it. It's fine. Mrs. Lovett and Victoria are stalking Sweeney. Sweeney's stalking Victoria. Judge Turpin's stalking Joanna. Sweeney between stalking Victoria, stalks the beetle and the judge. Just one big circle of stalk.
Yeah, great. You just figured out one of the key themes of Sweeney Todd. Congratulations.
Nope. I'm sorry. I'll rant about why this particular murder doesn't work in the slightest and why it's very freaky after the sport. Please don't. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it's like, freaky murders in Sweeney Todd fandom?
It's more likely than you think. I awoke with a pounding head and found myself in my own bedroom. You know, I'd really like to know where she got that bedroom. Where does she sleep? It actually wouldn't surprise me if she'd been sleeping upstairs in Sweeney's old room, petting the floorboards and... Okay,
What
you know what? This is unnecessary. This is That's not what's coming across. It's like, yeah, maybe she was sleeping in Sweeney's old bedroom. Maybe she shares a room with Mrs. Lovett. Yeah, she probably should have told us. She didn't? Okay, well, whatever. But this part that I've highlighted, that's unnecessary.
Yeah, like you are... Yeah, it's... A lot of the time, yeah, like very consistently, like Mervyn is attacked. It seems like that Mervyn is not attacking Victoria. She's attacking the idea of Victoria that Mervyn has in her own head. And these are different characters.
Yeah. Creepy aside, where the hell does she live? Okay, there is no creepy aside in Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd is creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy all the way through. That like themes. Exploring themes. Anyways, and so like it's like I found myself in my own bedroom, and this makes her creepy because she has a bedroom that is located somewhere. What? Like, if anything is creepy, it's the fact that Sweeney Todd, like, who is nominally stalking her, took, picked her up and carried her to her room while she was unconscious. And even then, it's like, that's a stretch.
Well, I mean, what was he supposed to do? Just leave her fainting on the street? I mean,
Mervyn would like that, but
responsible. At least it's not in 50 Shades of Grey when he carried her to his room and undressed her.
Yeah. So like I can like if you were going to critique this sentence in any way, like maybe it it is a little like for the time period, it is a little perhaps sus for a man to enter a lady's bedroom, like this. But and like perhaps maybe he should have like she should be waking up on a couch in the living room. But
it's actually located in the so lower floor. Okay, so ground floor you have the pie shop, and then this floor here you have the barber shop. And then I guess everybody kind of sleeps somewhere hereabouts. But like they sleep in their establishment.
Yeah, so
ideally they should be all three of them sharing one cramped space, or maybe two. Like, Sweeney sleeping in his old room and then the women sleeping in, their room.
Yeah.
Most. I don't think Victoria should have her very own bedroom because times is hard. We saw that Sweeney's room was vacant, but Mrs. Lovett, I feel, would be sharing her room with Victoria. I don't think she would have another vacant room for Victoria.
Yeah, and a lot of actually have like people taking for granted that people have individual bedrooms is old-timey times is actually a really common mistake that people make. Like,
I feel like if you're gonna critique this, it should be like found myself in Mrs. Lovett's in my bedroom or something like that.
Yeah,
like that's the harshest I can even get with this. Okay, so anyway,
yeah, and like if I wanted to be like really nitpicky, like okay, maybe it's unlikely that he was unconscious for that long.
We don't know how long she's been unconscious. We don't know if it's morning. We don't know if it's the next day even. It could be like a couple hours.
Yeah, but also like if her head is pounding, then like maybe she also has a concussion now, and if but like being unconscious for more than like a couple of minutes is really bad news. But media doesn't treat unconsciousness like that at all, so
So it's not something I can expect Jessamine to know because she's not a medical professional. She doesn't have a special interest in medicine. She probably just goes by the she probably has like the average way person's understanding of this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so scrolling down. A hand, however, pushed me down gently when I tried to rise. Thank you, thing. Sorry, that would have been my response and not this. I mean, let the wish fulfillment self-insert have Sweeney be gentle towards her.
Yeah, and like
worse. I have seen dude, I've role played with worse. Like, y'all don't even know. Like, I've had characters who were like actually supposed to be like mean and brutal and unfeeling, and then in comes this person expecting special treatment when it hasn't been like established a reason why. Here, I can believe it's been established a reason why. He's known her since she was 8 years old.
Yeah, and like it's like, okay, like yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, okay, like, I mean, if I were in Sweeney Todd's shoes, like I would probably be like, oh, okay, that's like I did like the world has decided to not be horrible to another woman in my life. Like, I really, like, right now do not need additional women in my life getting, like, in that situation. Like, I'm already dealing with enough right now. I'm so glad you're okay.
Also, that actually brings me to another thought. Him knowing Victoria at all would make a change in his characterization via the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah.
So he's known this little girl. He felt, he was kind to this little girl. This little girl remembers Benjamin Barker. She can be an anchor to his humanity, which he loses. Well, I don't really like to say humanity because humans are awful, but his morality then.
Yeah.
She's an anchor to his, like, his gentler side, his softer side, his functional in society. Well, no, he functions pretty well as Sweeney Todd. Okay. She acts as an anchor, as a morality pet for him, and I can believe that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is an 8, like
he knew her when she was 8 years old. Now, as an adult, he might see her as an adult, but then still recognize the little 8-year-old girl he knew and feel protective of her and therefore be gentle towards her because he is or was a gentleman and she is a young lady whom he knew as a little girl. And she would, like, because of her existence, would intrinsically change that part of his characterization. Like, if he was the exact same person and she had no impact whatsoever on his characterization, that would honestly bother me a lot more.
Yeah, like, this is an AU, and the AU is, hey, what if there was this little girl in Sweeney Todd's life at this time, and how would it be different?
Yeah. I closed my eyes against the harshness of the cold gray light. Okay, so it's morning. Lady, I think you need a doctor.
Yeah.
Take a ride on the wee woo. Oh, they didn't have those.
You had to do the wee woo manually back then.
Yep. Take a ride in a carriage and have someone stick their head out going wee woo wee woo to make Okay. Flooding into the room via my small window. What the fuck is this?
Absolutely unnecessary vitriol.
No, no what? He's about to say what? Be patient. Hold your goddamn horses. Hold your horses. Your skull took a good knock last night.
I called it. She had a concussion.
Yep. I borrowed that line from Kate Beckinsale. So what?
Who cares?
So the fuck? What, you think I don't quote Bram Stoker? You think I don't quote Bram Stoker and Piers Anthony and Owen Colford, literally every writer who has had an influence on my... I quote Piffy.
Yeah.
Okay? You quote people who have had an influence on your writing. That's just how you do.
Yeah, it's
fine.
It's but like, yeah, this is like, hey, you know, this is a tip of the hat, not a feather in the hat. You know, the author's not peacocking about this. It's like, ooh, look at me, I'm cultured. It's like, hey, I liked this, and I pay tribute to that.
Yeah, exactly. I looked to my right and found Sweeney sitting at my side, his eyes unfathomable, his shirt sleeves and face stained with bright... Buddy! Okay, you know what? I feel like he should have washed up. Because that would freak me the fuck out. Like, okay, so some guy attacked me and got his throat slit in front of me, and then I passed out, right? Mm-hmm. And then I wake up and there's this guy covered in blood!
Yeah, like Sweeney, don't you want to make sure she doesn't like faint all over again from, you know, all that blood that she saw again?
You know what? I kind of agree with her in this, but you haven't changed since then. You left the blood all over you. Like, I agree with that. And then not caring that somebody could see you. Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit uncharacteristically careless of him. And
yeah, like the only thing that I think would justify Sweeney letting the blood dry on his clothes, let's be real, it's not going to be bright crimson anymore by that time. Does he, like, A, either not have another shirt, or B, is just, like, so worried that he does not want to leave her side long enough to change clothes?
If it's B, then I do feel like that should be spelled out in the text, but that is an interesting angle to consider, and it would make Mervyn furious, so that's our new headcanon!
Huzzah! Like, yeah, because, like, hey, she hit her head. You know, and she is unconscious, and she has been unconscious for a while. What if she stops breathing?
Right, and I mean, I think at that point Mervyn would say it's Mrs. Lovett's job to look. I actually no, I kind of do feel that way because they're both women, right? It's kind of weird, especially in Victorian times, a gentleman watching over a lady while she's sleeping. It's kind of weird, especially if he's like covered in blood. Like in that time, yeah, like in modern times that would freak someone the fuck out, but in those times it would definitely freak a lady the fuck out, waking up, seeing some guy staring at her, and he's covered in blood. Like, this should have been Mrs. Lovett's job, but I can buy that he didn't want to delegate it.
Yeah, and I do feel like Mervyn would probably be like, how dare you, like, write Sweeney Todd caring enough about whether you live or die?
She absolutely...
Person that he knows. But,
she stole that look from when you killed the judge. Well, yeah, you know what? She does kind of reference a lot of things from the movie because the movie's very visual, and she's extremely inspired by it because it's a visual fucking medium.
Yeah.
And she translates that to the page very evocatively.
Also, like, when you are starting out as a writer, like, yeah, you lean on... It's normal to lean on the work of people who are more experienced than you.
Of course.
You know, it's like this is something that writers who don't have a lot of experience do. And there's nothing wrong with it.
When I was 7 years old, I had blatant expies of like characters from, you know, whatever TV shows that I watched when I wasn't watching educational TV. And no, I think I even had a character who is very much like Joni from Third Grade Adventures. I think actually part of Cinnamon's aesthetic is based on Joni from Third Grade Adventures. Like it's a thing people do. And then when I was older, like when I was 12, I had blatant expies of the Sailor Soldiers, Sailor Moon. Like, I'm not going to fault someone for that.
Yeah.
You saved my life. Why? To get the plot going, actually. But you know what? Let's have something Watsonian in here. That's
okay.
mean. That's mean.
Yeah, like I don't like. Okay, I haven't watched the movie, but Gingen, do you think it's in character for Sweeney Todd to be just totally fine with somebody that's like he knows personally getting raped and murdered?
Not if it's a woman. Not if it's a woman that he's known since she was 8 years old, who probably kind of like, his daughter was an infant, and then this girl was like 8, right? So she probably, when he saw her, he was probably like, comparing her to his daughter, or like thinking, my daughter might look like this when she gets older. Like I kind of
dad moding.
I do that with older children, right? Like, oh, that kid looks like, my son might look like that when he gets older, Yeah. I think that because he knew her as a very young girl, he would have a soft spot for her and not want anything to happen to her. And like you said, terrible things have happened to the women in his life. He probably feels instinctively protective. And again, he's a gentleman in Victorian or Georgian London. Like, he's not going to want to see a woman get assaulted.
Yeah, like Gethsemane has actually set up a very good, like, a very solid reason for Sweeney to give a damn.
Taught you a lesson or two about the evils of men. I don't like that.
I don't. Would Sweeney Todd even say that? Like, that's the kind of thing that, like, would have taught you a lesson or two about the evils of men. Sounds like the kind of thing Judge Turpin's friends would have told Sweeney's wife.
I disagree, but I also don't think that he would say, teach you a lesson about, like, yes, he thinks that humans are shit. Yes, he thinks that men are evil because of what a man did to his wife, right? He thinks that everybody just deserves to die. Yes, he does come to that realization in Epiphany, partway through the movie, not this part. He came to this, like, he would never say that a woman needs to get mugged, raped, and or murdered because it will teach her a lesson about the evils of men.
Yeah, like,
I don't
Mervyn, why are you putting your victim blaming in Sweeney's mouth? Sorry. I said, Mervyn, why are you putting your victim blaming in Sweeney's mouth?
Right. I don't think Judge Turpin would say that. He was more the, well, you've been convicted twice of stealing. Let's pay you, little 8-year-old boy.
Oh, yeah, I said one of Judge Turpin's friends, the people who laughed at Joanna for being so stupid as to show up.
Lucy. Joanna was
Lucy.
Yeah.
I can keep track of the names of characters. It's totally. I totally didn't type Judge Turpentine last night.
Topulent. You said topulent. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really know anything about his friends other than they stood there and laughed.
Yeah, it's like that.
Like, that's, I know they were assholes. That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah, I think would have taught you a lesson or two about the evils of men is the kind of thing that somebody who would laugh at a woman who's being sexually assaulted would say.
It sounds like more of the kind of thing like a modern, like, super problematic mom would say to her daughter. Like,
oh, you're right.
Yeah. Like, oh, well, I guess that'll teach you to go out in a skirt like that. You've learned a lesson or two about the evils of men. Ugh. I hate it. Anyway, she had to have me go dashing to your rescue and all gallant about, oh my god. Okay, so you can write fanfic, Sweeney Todd, and make him be just this absolute fucking dickhead with no regard for the life of a woman he's known since she was a child. But God forbid anyone try to write him as someone who still has the vestiges of a conscience. Only one Sweeney is right, and it's Mervyn's, except it's not.
Yeah, it's like, isn't it interesting that Mervyn's version of Sweeney shares all of her opinions about, you know.
So does
He has all
Penguin.
the same feelings about characters that she has.
Oh, I was gonna say so does Penryn, but then Penryn's an OC. Yeah. It would be like if so y'all know I took over writing with Kuma, Japan, and Uval, all that onion. Sometimes they do share my exact opinions when it's funny, when I can express it in a way that's funny. Sometimes they side with the character I don't like because I can express it in a way that's funny. They run on rule of funny. Okay. But no, this would be like if I were taking over Spins the Wheel Averna. If I wrote like some Averna fan fiction, right? And I used Averna to soapbox about all the things that I want to soapbox about, at the expense of her actual characterization, and just like, here's my hand up her butt. Like, I don't think I'd ever do that to you, though. I appreciate Averna. I love her, but
thank you.
Annoys the shit. No, this annoys the shit out of me. I feel like this is a very immature reading of Sweeney.
She's projecting all of her feelings about it onto her Sweeney.
Well, you know what it would be like, actually? If we had Ken and Hermione commenting on Eden, but only saying things that you and I would agree with, as opposed to things that she would actually say regardless of whether we would agree with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to Replahov playing on his 3DS. Okay, does it matter?
Replahov playing on his 3DS is intentionally absurd.
Just like Lucifer ignoring everything in the room to play Angry Birds on his phone so that he's not too OP, and also so that Bex can't complain that he's not in the scene. She's something that like reminds me that someone's not in the scene by saying, wonders why so-and-so was so quiet. It's because I forgot they exist. Sorry about that. And, you know, Lydia does this to me too. She's like, what's a Nathaniel? And I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't had him here for a while, have I? Does it matter my motive? Does it sound sophisticated in my language? Well,
she's trying to write period language and doesn't really know how, and that's like most people.
It's fine. Like nowadays, they didn't have this back in 2009, but nowadays I could go to Boo and say, rewrite this in Victoria. You know what? In fact, rewrite this in Victorian English. Yes, actually, she's correct. She's fucking correct. It, you know, I'm just gonna. We're gonna just temporarily go over here. The original prompt was rewrite this in Victorian English.
Okay, what if you put in, does my motive matter?
Okay.
Hey!
Score 1! Score, you know, actually, we've been scoring quite a lot, but you know, score 1 for Team Gethsemane.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that, you know, I hope that someday she sees our videos on this, because there are some stylistic choices of hers that I don't agree with, but overall, she did not do that badly.
Yeah, like this is like this is just like ragging on her for trying to make the dialogue sound period. And doing it correctly.
That sounds period, though. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Like why are you ragging on it? I mean, other than like everything she does is annoying.
I can guarantee this is not accurate.
Yeah.
His voice was cold and dispassionate as it had been the previous day. Yeah, well, that's just an observation. Why is she doing that? It's just an she's just She's telling us how we should be imagining his voice. Why are you?
Yeah, she's like, makes a description. Oh my gosh, and yeah, it's like, describe something. And then Mervin's like, oh my gosh, you slut, how dare you?
Well, firstly, I dare daringly, so jot that down.
Yeah.
Is she awake? Asked Mrs. Lovett from outside. Yeah, I feel like Mrs. Lovett should have been the one who was looking after her. And if she wasn't, there should have been like a reason given for this. But in all fairness, Victoria hasn't had time to get to that yet.
Yeah, and although I do feel like Mrs. Lovett would probably be a person who might be like, I'll look after you change your shirt. You don't want her to see you covered in blood when she wakes up.
Yeah, and also Mrs. Lovett again would probably like. I think she's been housing and feeding this girl for this time and watch her. Like,
Yeah,
she only sees her as like a substitute daughter. She's not going to necessarily see her as a romantic rival off the bat. If she did, yeah, she'd absolutely smother her with a pillow. But if she just sees like, oh yeah, that's my my foster daughter, and this guy that she's known for, this guy that she knew as a little girl has come back and. She's greeting him and all that. Like, she wouldn't necessarily sense anything sus about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. A temporary... Yo! He killed someone with a tea kettle in the movie, but no, dude! No! She's done nothing to warrant this.
Yeah. Mervin, you're doing the thing again. You're doing that thing I just talked about.
Mervin, you're being a shithead right now, and I don't appreciate it. She entered with a small tray, upon which rested a bottle of laudanum and a small bowl of sugar cubes. I got these from the set of From Hell. Between this and the
Okay, right. Hold on. I'm going to go look something up. Victorian cough syrup. Hold on. Okay, copy image. I'm going to send this to you.
Okay. Alcohol, cannabis, chloroform, morphia. Okay. Skillfully combined with a number of other ingredients. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like, okay, that's what over-the-counter medicine looks like in this era.
So, you know what? The fact that she apparently from a movie called From Hell, that's, again, she's taking inspiration from a thing she likes. That's fine.
Yeah.
She's allowed to do that. Also, set up suitures that take off your clothes and get in the back. Blah, blah, blah. Mary Sue squeals incoherently. That's mean. Like, if it had been me or Mervin squeals incoherently, that would be fine. But projecting that onto Victoria and calling Victoria's done nothing Sue-like. Nobody, and the thing that bothers me, the thing that's going to make me call someone out for being a Mary Sue isn't necessarily them being perfect, but everybody around them shilling them for being perfect. Nobody has done that with Victoria.
Oh, yeah. Victoria's just automatically a Mary Sue because she's with a canon and Mervin doesn't like that. She's not even with a canon yet. But anyways, also, if Mervin caught me with that stuff, Mervin. Sweeney Todd cares about what you think? What a double standard. You can't see me leaning right up close to the screen here, but...
You gave us quite a fright, Victoria, she exclaimed as she set the tray down on the table beside the bed. Although I really have no idea why. Because you've been raising her since she ran away from home. Because that's why. You're nothing but competition to me. No! It's her foster daughter.
Are you mad at Mrs. Lovett for not reading ahead? Is that it, Mervin? Should Mrs. Lovett have read ahead and metagamed about this?
Perfectly content to let him believe his wife is... Yeah, because it's his wife. It's not some girl that it's not some girl that he knew as an 8-year-old. It's like his wife actually is romantic and sexual competition for you.
Yeah, like just, I mean, I also really hope you see this someday, because like you deserved none of this. Okay? None of
I
this.
have no idea why I was worried that you might be killed and also conveniently. She's your foster daughter. That's why. Okay, look, real talk. Okay, we all know I've had my boy crazy and girl crazy moments. We all know that I used to be super duper jealous. Okay, I adopted an 8-year-old girl who ran away from home. I raised her to basically an adult. Like, yeah, I think she's like in her early 20s right now.
Mm-hmm.
Guy that disappeared when she was 8 years old and now it's come back like 20 years. Well,
15.
Yeah, okay. 15 years later. Yeah, you're right. Comes back like over a decade later. And she wants to get to know him again. I'm not automatically going to think, oh, hell no. That's my man. You know, even if I had feelings for him.
Yeah, and like, and again, Mervyn is projecting her own feelings onto every single canon character. Gee, does that sound familiar to you, by the way? Does that sound like maybe something she might be accusing someone else of doing?
Yep. And I mean, I do know amateur writers who play both canons and OCs and project their personal feelings onto every single character. And I think that it's an easy mistake to make. I judge it really harshly, but it's an easy mistake to make. But they don't do it they do it innocently. They don't do it in the context of, I'm going to talk shit about your character in your fanfic, and I'm going to call you this, that, and the third.
And they don't do it positioning themselves as the arbiter of good fan fiction.
I've been guilty of that once or twice, actually.
Okay.
Nathaniel's reaction to some people's OCs who were shipped with, but it wasn't because they were shipped with canons that I wanted. It was because of the shilling. It was just because of the shilling, okay? It wasn't you're writing this fandom wrong, although that would have been a valid criticism. It's we get it, you're special. Stop having everybody tell us that you're special.
Yeah, and that's completely completely different thing from like. I mean, Mervyn is accusing Victoria of trying to be special, but we haven't actually seen any evidence of that. It's just like, hey, there's this plausible backstory. You're mad about the parts that aren't bad and about the parts that are.
We don't have purely male going, oh, you're so beautiful and pure, I must corrupt you. We don't have Sweeney Todd being like, for the first time in my life since, for the first time in my life, I'm realizing what true love is. Fuck my wife. We're not having Mrs. Lovett be like, truly the paradigmiest paradigm of beauty and virtue and goodness and womanhood. You know, we're not having all of that.
Yeah, and like, yeah, we aren't having any of that. Exactly. It's like, and I mean,
Mervyn's just salty.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those reasons why I'm not a huge fan of Mary Sue as like a criticism, because it's so nebulous and stuff, and you can just slap it on anything without really having to explain what's wrong. Like,
I'm happy to explain. I'm happy to explain what's wrong, but Mary Sue is shorter and easier to say. But when pushed, I will explain why I think this character is a Sue. You know, and I will explain why I don't want to repeat that cluster of words every single time I'm criticizing them.
Yeah. But
yes, but like calling any woman a Mary Sue, that's dumb.
Yeah, man. I had so much anxiety as a writer about the time this all was all happening.
Mm-hmm.
Hon, do you need help?
No, I'm putting your shoes on.
Oh, okay.
Thought I was gesturing at you.
Well, I thought you were like messing with something.
Oh,
sorry. Husband's taking out the trash. What was like right? Yeah. So, and it was because of shit like this. Yeah. We're like, oh no, a female character existing too close to a main character, that's a sin.
Here's the thing is, when I was younger, I did buy into all of that, but even at age, 18, I would have been able to tell, like, Irina, exists very close to canon, but in such a richly developed, like, backstory and all of that, like, she's not empty. Like,
yeah, I designed Irina to be like as unimportant as possible because being female important.
Okay. I pulled a name out of a hat.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry, Irina was just direct product of this.
I understand that. I pulled a name out of a hat.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is that the characters that you write aren't empty. They're not just like they're good at everything and that's their characterization. They're good at everything and everyone loves them for no reason and that's their characterization. Your characters come from a very richly defined, codified, like, series of worlds, wherever they come from, right? And they all come from somewhere different. They're all very distinct, like Helibor, Irina, Averna, all these, like, Briar's a man, but and Ernest also a man, or male, but all these characters are so richly defined, and like I feel like if anybody accused your characters of being a Sue past like age whenever you made your first like forum character, they got ripped to shreds, okay, like you learn from that. So like anything past that, I just look at them and say, you are ignorant as hell, right? And I understand the fear and the anxiety and the whole like rejection sensitive dysphoria and all that. But you also have to take into account whether or not the criticism is actually valid, and theirs wouldn't have been. And
yeah,
like, and hell, even we were not in contact when I was 18, but when we did start talking again, if you'd like shown me any character that said somebody said this was a Mary Sue, I guarantee I would have looked over it and been like, no, it's not.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
And
like,
yeah,
I'm so glad.
I'm not just saying that because I like you. I'm saying that because objectively it's true. I'm extremely harsh with criticism. And for me to be sitting here screaming about how this is fine, actually, tells you how unfair Mervyn is being. Okay. Anyway. Meanwhile, I write Sue's. I write Sue's up the ass, and I'm perfectly okay with it because like someone's gonna call Cinnamon a Mary Sue, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I know. And Cygnet's a Mary Sue. And Serena's a Mary Sue. No, she's not. But also, and but no, Serena has so many deliberate flaws. I'll get into that.
Yeah, Serena's compelling.
She's compelling. She is getting a little bit on the overpowered side in some aspects. And there are like some ships that You had to maybe bend characterization a little bit to make them work, but like she makes such horrible decisions and she is such a bad person. And I am living for it.
Right?
And like part of her charm is that she's a horrible person and makes bad decisions. Like I am at no point saying my protagonist is my protagonist is flawless and she's always right about everything. No.
No. She is a train wreck.
Huh?
She is a train wreck. A beautiful, beautiful train wreck.
Thank you. She is scraping the barrel of morality, and it is going to catch up to her at some point. Anyway, going back to what we're actually supposed to be doing. Why were you out so late last night? Because she's an idiot. Yeah, you know what? I can't argue with that. Out of context, I cannot argue.
I mean, it's she couldn't sleep. I wanted to clear her head. She couldn't sleep. I wanted to clear her head. That's it.
But because she's an idiot, it also works because it was a really ill-advised walk.
Yeah. And Victoria goes and says what I just said. Okay.
Yeah. I couldn't sleep. I needed to clear my mind. You certainly did that. Yeah, Mrs. Levin agrees. Well, I also agree with you, but that's like the stop clock.
Yeah.
This is a stop 24-hour digital clock. It is right once a day. I'm sorry, that was really mean.
Okay, but Mervyn does pull the canon characters agree with me all the time, constantly.
Yeah, but this time it's a canon character in a fanfic that's agreeing with her.
Yeah.
It's a canon character that she's like sock puppeting that's agreeing with her.
Yeah.
It's slightly better. Besides, I do that too. I cannot give her shit for that. You can give her shit for that, but I can't.
Okay.
She poured a small dose of the liquid into a glass, mixed the key with sugar. Drink this down. It'll help with the pain. It'll also knock her out cold, so she'll stop. She said 2 sentences. She said, "Why did you save my life?" And I couldn't sleep and I needed to clear my mind. You're giving her shit for 2 fucking sentences. 2 sentences.
Yeah. No, you're not, Mervyn. You're not sorry.
I think she's the one with her mind in the gutter, not Victoria, because she keeps sexualizing every aspect of everything Victoria says and does. It's like she's hate fucking her through the text.
Yeah, she was doing that even when Victoria was like 8. She was hypersexualizing everything Victoria did.
Thank you for reminding me.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that while you were drinking.
Or ever.
Ever, but that's what happens.
It's a valid criticism. But I'm just angry that I have to remember it.
I am so sorry. I am actually so sorry.
It's her fault. I'm blaming her for that.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure dick tastes better than laudanum, just saying. If we're going into this territory.
Well, yeah, you don't need to add a sugar cube.
A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down.
Oh, hi, Twen. Are you expecting me to send you to bed with your goodies? She's like, it is 7:30, Mother.
I'm going to get my dinner. Hold on.
All right.
Do what you need to do.
All right. Come on, Twen. Twen, why did you poop in your treat dish? Like, that's just so unnecessary. Ugh.
Double chicken avocado salad, get!
Oh, man.
Ah,
Hey,
good. I
Tan.
opened it without spilling it all over my computer.
Oh, good.
All right, Tan. Hi there, little lady. I've got your goodies. Are you gonna get the goodies? Twin, it's okay. It's okay. That was just your papa coming on inside from putting out the trash. Hi, Twin. Do you want your goodies? Did I give her medication?
Oh.
Yeah, I did. Okay, Twin. Come on, Twin. Come on. Yeah, your papa's up and about. It's fine. Why are you hiding? Yeah, your papa's upstairs. It's fine. Alright, well.
Mm-hmm. Can we continue or?
Yeah, just a sec. I'm getting your medication.
Okay. I'm gonna unshare the screen. Y'all can watch me eat a salad.
Oh. Alright, Twin. Come on. Come on, Twin. I've got the feel-good juice. Go get your meds.
Good use.
Hey, Twin. Come on. Get your meds. She's like, I cannot take my medication. Dad is changing the trash bag, and that's making noises. Hi, Twin. Come on. Yeah, Twin, are you achy? Is that why you're so jumpy right now? Are you an achy baby?
Twin, I really don't want to climb under the desk.
I'll come in a second, huh?
Alright. Hi there, Twin.
Hi, 20. Hi, 10.
Yeah, hi. Oh, good girl. That's your dose. Whew.
The internet will probably also say hi on the rewatch.
Alright. Her two dishes on top of the thing. Okay. I'm gonna sit back down, and I am back. Let's see.
A good knockabout is what you took last night. No! God damn it! Stop it, Mervin.
Sorry, what was it?
He then bustled out of the room, yet Sweeney stayed for a moment. That's mean! If you're gonna write fanfic of the fanfic, just have it be funny and not, like, unnecessarily vitriolic.
Yeah, like this is unjustifiable.
Agreed. There's not enough avocado in my avocado chicken salad.
Oh no.
It's fine. I mean, I have more avocado in the fridge. It's just I'm slightly disappointed this didn't come with more avocado. It's okay. He looked at me and then... Did you say something?
Oh, I was going to say maybe I misjudged about her wanting to go to bed.
He looked at me and then rose from the bed and crossed the room to the door, wordlessly slipping into the corridor and shutting the door behind him. Okay, that has way too many ands in it, but you know what? Amateur writer, whatever.
Like, that should be split up into a couple sentences, but...
Such characterization, I'm so impressed. Dude, she's just narrating what happened. Not every single sentence needs to be jam-packed with 100% characterization.
Yeah, it's like he got up and walked out of the room. And you're mad?
Yep.
Actually, let's go to bed.
And one last bit of script and then she rants. Oh, fucking boy, more script. Victoria runs off to buy a poetically white rose. Oh, Mr. Todd, I want to thank you so much for saving my life. I'm trying to brood sexily here. Okay. All she did is buy him a flower and say, thank you for saving my life. It's such an innocent, girlish thing to do. I like it. I find that endearing.
Yeah, but, you know, she's doing literally anything in the vicinity of Sweeney Todd, and that's just unacceptable.
My friend has an OC who uses not Sweeney Todd, but uses Johnny Depp as a face claim. Back when he was like a hell of a lot younger. I'm gonna have my character jump his bones just out of spite, and then
Do it.
I'm gonna publish it, and I'm gonna submit it to DOS Sporky, just to make them read it, because I am an asshole. Anyway, Victoria dramatically and symbolically places the rose on top of his razors and leaves. So that makes it sound like he has like his razors on a bed of autumn leaves, and she put the rose. I'm sorry.
I assume they're out because he's working, but like... But, like...
Sometimes he just likes to look at them.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, he had his razors out, and like, okay, maybe there's not a shortage of flat surfaces. It's like, where?
No, maybe she did actually place them there symbolically. Maybe she did actually put the rose on top of the razors because she knows that he's going to notice the rose if she does that, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, okay, like I'm going to put it somewhere where I know he's going to get it, going to see it later, and you know, that's thoughtful of her.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now Mervin's going to rant.
Okay.
Notice how perfectly fine Victoria is with the fact that he just slit someone's throat and sat around in the guy's blood all day. Yeah, but that could just be attributed to she's still in shock from last night. I admit she should have had more of a reaction to it, but I don't think it's worth dogging her for. What?
Actually, there's this thing that happens when you pass out. You forget the first, like, everything that was in your short-term memory just doesn't get written down. So she wouldn't even remember the throat slitting.
But she still wakes up to see a man watching her sleep covered in a shit ton of blood.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of freaky. That's freaky, but like.
And also, I don't expect Gethsemane to know that because that's kind of a niche fact. No offense.
Okay, you're right.
You mention it like 100 times, but excuse me, it's not common knowledge. So
okay.
I don't expect Gethsemane circa 2009 to know that. So I do agree that Victoria should have had more of a reaction to that.
Yeah.
Mrs. Lovett was a little appalled by the fact that he murdered someone. Oh, he murdered someone. Yeah, it's like my inner reaction to that. But she was quite all right once it was justified. The guy fucking tried to rape Victoria. I would not only be fine with someone slitting his throat in front of me, I'd be like, rah, rah, ah. You know? I'd be fucking cheering him on. I'd be like, oh yeah, that was really, you know, Good going. Awesome. You killed this guy that was about to violently assault me.
And he was probably going to go on to do that more to other people.
Oh, I don't give a shit about other people. This is about me, okay?
Oh, okay.
But I mean, someone's about to attack me and they get murdered in front of me by someone who's protecting me. I'm okay with that. It was them or me at that point. I'm fine with that. If I myself am not armed. So yet again, Victoria proves that she's not. Nope, she does not.
Yeah,
No.
that doesn't prove that. Your premises and your conclusion do not follow.
Pirelli being the first victim was kind of important. Okay, so this I actually did not know before reading this, but in the play, he struggles with him and is usually pretty nervous about everything, kills him because he really does have to. He still had to in the movie, but they made sure that he did it slowly, that he did it deliberately, and that you could really tell his mind was sprawling stab. Oh, God. He didn't kill to protect anyone. He never killed to protect anyone. Okay, but he also never knew anybody from the point that they were an 18, that they were an 8-year-old.
Yeah, was he ever even put in a situation where he might, where that would even be an option?
Sort of, but he didn't recognize her. In the movie, he sees his daughter, but she's disguised as a boy, and he almost kills her because he thinks that the page boy witnessed something. But if he'd known it was Joanna, absolutely he would not have killed her.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, this situation did not appear in canon, so you cannot blanket statements that he would never, like... Honestly, like, this doesn't seem like the kind of... It just... He has, like, a legitimately set up reason to care about Victoria. Like, Mervyn doesn't like that, but...
I don't even think Mervyn's taking it into account, to be honest with you. I think Mervyn's mind just kind of skated over that because we noticed, but it took me a while, honestly, to get to this point. It took me 4 chapters to realize that knowing and feeling protective of this little girl would intrinsically change his characterization.
Yeah, like Mervyn didn't so much skate over it, so much as she raged about Gethsemane daring to set it up.
No, I feel when I say skated over it, I mean she doesn't acknowledge that would have intrinsically changed his personality.
Oh, yeah.
He did rage about Victoria existing as a little girl and in general, but she does not ever acknowledge that situation would change him from how he was in canon, where he gave a shit about no one, to, hey, I know that girl.
Yeah. And, well, yeah, after all, a canon is sacrosanct here. You can't introduce things that would change anything.
But that's boring, so we're going to
disagree. Yeah, but that's boring. But, yeah, so it's like, I feel like if, like, yeah, killing for vengeance over, oh yeah, a woman he cares about being sexually assaulted. Yeah, I think that falls under, like...
Oh, especially after he just learned that his wife was raped and then driven to suicide.
Yeah, like, I think, like, that's actually something that would, like, support.
Yeah, he's triggered as hell.
Yeah, that supports his actions. That doesn't take away from it. Like,
yeah.
And like, you know, You can stomp and whine about how dare she writes an AU all you want, Mervyn. But it's an AU.
He killed Pirelli because it was getting in the way of his revenge. He killed Pirelli because Pirelli was blackmailing him. But yes, this is technically true. Okay. Pirelli's death is the one that shows he's very, very obsessed with vengeance and the signal where it first begins to eat him alive. And also Pirelli was blackmailing him. Basically, he said, okay, so I know who you are, and if you don't give me X amount % of your earnings, I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to go tell the judge who you are and that you escaped from prison. I'm going to have you sent back to prison.
Yeah, that's motive to kill someone.
That is. Having him killed to protect some... She's not a random chick to him. She's a random chick to you.
Yeah, like, she is somebody he personally knows. And has personally known for years.
He kills for one thing and one thing only. Yeah, grief. Revenge and grief. The grief over his wife and daughter. Okay? This woman would be safe. Now, if she were a surrogate boy child, the son of a prostitute who'd been taken in by Mrs. Lovett, he probably would not be as safe, okay? Sweeney was ready to kill Toby at some point, but I feel like he would have a different reaction to a young woman whom he knew as a girl. Again, I am beating this fucking horse into the ground.
Hey, me too.
Not to mention, it makes him less sympathetic to have him immediately.
It makes him less sympathetic?
To save a woman from being raped and murdered. That makes him less sympathetic. Okay, Corey!
Okay, Mervyn, I know you would be happier if this character had gotten murdered. But, considering that you've been, like, fantasizing about it this entire fic, but, I'm so fucking tired. Mervyn, why?
It makes Epiphany lose its impact. He gets home, hasn't snapped yet, and then immediately starts working on what he considers the filth of the earth. No. Epiphany loses all meaning. Okay, but first of all, the musical is, again, a fanfic of a fanfic, okay? And he has not determined that they all deserve to die with that one murder. He has determined that a man who was about to assault a woman he knows, a woman he had a personal emotional connection to, he believed that specific man deserved to die, okay?
Okay.
Now, let's say the worst, okay? God forbid, okay? I find somebody about to assault one of my friends and I shoot him in the head. That's not me saying all men deserve to die. That's me saying that guy deserves to die.
And in this next paragraph, Mervyn, is proving my point.
Okay, you read ahead in the middle of my rant. I'm not like mad, but I know you're trying to establish more nonsense. No, she already established a connection and it was not nonsensical. It makes perfect sense if you rub your two little fucking brain cells together and make the spark so you can understand it.
Yeah, like I said, Mervyn is treating the fact that Gethsemane established connections as in itself bad writing. It's like, this is a random girl. Okay, but I wrote it so that she's not a random girl. That's worse. It's not.
This is bad faith commentary on Mervyn's part. This is a cold ass take. This is an ice cold take. This take is colder than Xander's dick.
Hey!
Not that anybody here would know about that. He makes it seem romantic that he follows her wherever she goes. Well, maybe he followed her because, hey, this chick's wandering around at night in the Victorian streets of London. It's not safe. We're in the fucking slums. I better go make sure she's okay.
Yeah. It's like, my housemate is going out now. okay, you know what? For my own peace of mind, I'm just gonna go make sure she's okay. And oh hey, she wasn't
willing to kill her protector. Yo, that's an extreme circumstance. I would hope that, okay, somebody might not necessarily be willing to kill somebody that's assaulting me, but I hope they would at least be willing to fight them or to, get them to back the fuck off. I don't think that Sweeney's reaction was extreme. I think he was triggered, he panicked, and he killed the guy because that was his first reaction. And besides, he's like still processing, hey, Judge Turpin raped my wife and she tried to kill herself, and he just he's angry about that and he's grieving over that, and so that was his first reaction. That's fine.
Yeah, like this is this makes sense, okay? It makes sense. And is this the part where I get to rant about transgressive fantasy? No, I only have 1 minute before I need to call my parents.
When in reality, you're making him just like your Sue and Mrs. Lovett, which makes him lose all sympathy. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Make her seem more sympathetic and frail. He's a Victorian woman. Okay. Look, we have this much to go. Should we save that for next time?
Probably. It's Father's Day, and I want to call on time.
Cool. All right. Thanks for joining.
Love you. Let's talk about this more next week.
Bye. Or later this week. We can do that, or we can watch that anime things. Let me know.
All right. Yeah. Let's finish this up and then watch Chimera later.
Okay. Huggles.
Huggles. Bye.
Bye.